Hey guys, welcome to the Salem Business Journal podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Pione, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with these two lovely ladies, Shaney Starr and Soraida Cross.
Hello.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Was this yellow planned?
Not even close.
It's a synergy. We were born in the same year.
You just got that connection going on,
Yeah.
as you should.
Like a bright ray of
So be
sunshine.
very, very afraid. This is your warning.
I know. Well, she came in bright yellow. I was like, wow, you look beautiful. I love that yellow dress. And then you walk in with bright yellow too. I was like, oh man. I was like, you also look great. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Let's just, for people who don't already know you guys, you're both on Kaiser City Council.
Correct.
And Shaney, give us a brief intro about you, just kind of your life for people who don't already know.
Sure. Well, I serve as council president, and this is my third year in that capacity. It's fun and challenging all at the same time. I have spent over 20 years in the nonprofit world. Most recently, 10 years doing the court-appointed special advocates thing, both at the local and the national level, serving as a director of program growth and development, working with programs all over the country. So,
yeah, and we met through groundwork.
we did. We were
Originally,
in
right?
the very first inaugural class, and I'm excited to be going back and doing a panel.
Oh, you're doing a panel?
Doing a panel conversation with on a program that they're doing with teens. So talking about
that's exciting.
being in leadership positions and talking to youth. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience.
Such a fun time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was like there's Allison Kelly, there was this whole
Sue
group
Bloom.
of people. Yeah, Sue. Oh, I
Tony
love Sue.
Frazier.
Yeah, it was all these groups of these high performing people, and there's just little me
Oh,
just trying to pick up some gold nuggets along the way.
You were good. You kept us young. How's that?
Hey, you know what? We had a great time, and
We
I
did
loved
have a good
getting
time.
to know you there. And it seems like that was just like yesterday.
Right. But it was almost 10 years ago.
That was almost 10
Yeah.
years ago.
It's been a while.
I'm getting crusty.
Well, try being me.
No, you're going back. That's what you're doing.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. All right, Soraida.
Soraida Cross, third year on city council.
Mhm.
I am working hospitality, so I'd say I'm a hospitality executive for the last 20 years, heavily involved in all things Salem Kaiser. You know, sit on quite a few boards,
Yeah.
very involved in the travel Salem and hospitality aspect.
Yeah.
And really have a passion for youth. That's how my friendship with Shaney started. She got me at one of those CASA luncheons when they're like,
Oh,
we
she got you good, huh?
need CASA volunteers. And I was like, oh, dang it. And Treva from Gambaretti's was talking. and I was like,
Treva.
right. And then I thought, if Treva can do it, Soraida, you can do it. And then that's kind of our friendship. And then that's Shaney, how Shaney sucked me into city council. I just went to CASA to go get a toy for a foster kid for one of my cases, and she said you should be on city council. I said,
It's like, hey.
no, I shouldn't. Like, why do you keep popping in my head? Like,
Come in
You
my
got-
office,
you
sit
got
on
her,
my
huh?
couch,
Yeah,
and
what
the
does that
next
look
thing
like?
you know,
and next thing you know, that I'm a
Shaney's casting out a line. She's just
yeah.
hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, be scared of that sometimes. You look at the phone and wonder if you want to answer this. You're like,
well, what's funny though is like with Shaney or with some other folks in our community, or like Dick or even like Tom, right? There's some people in the community you're like, I'm gonna need to step up and do something, but it's always something good. You know what I mean? Yeah, because like one thing I would say about Shaney is like I know her heart's always in the right place, which I've always appreciated, and so but yeah, that's awesome. That's
yeah, that's kind of how that worked. So here we are in year 3 of a 4-year volunteer term.
But so I first met you at Dorchester, and what's really funny, Soraida, is I had heard about you by several different people beforehand. So I went on this great old 4-year hiatus from the world, and I come back and all of a sudden I start hearing about the Soraida Cross person. I was like, I had no idea who you were. Like I just heard of you because just through like mutual friends, and I heard about like great stuff you've been doing. So like I didn't know who you were, but I was like, this chick packs a punch. I was like, I don't know who this lady is, but she's a killer. And And so I was actually really excited to meet you. And then I finally did at Dorchester. And I was like, man, she's really cool.
Who would have thunk?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's been really great getting to know you too. And I love your passion for like youth and for the community, and not just like, because like when a lot of people are like, I really care about the children, and then like, do you really care? Or then there's like, because a lot of the work that we do is like, it's ugly. It's not fun. It's hard decisions, and it's like, and what I've seen, you doing as I'm getting to know you, and what I've seen you do in the past is like doing the hard work.
Yeah.
And having to make those tough calls.
And I think that goes back to, I remember the best way I've ever heard it put is I did a fundraiser several years ago, and we had Robin Roberts from Good Morning America come in. Mm-hmm. And one of her main things that she talked about was make your mess your message. Mm-hmm. And I think, so for me, to your point, Jesse, doing the hard work in child welfare is, taking something that maybe wasn't so great in the past, and, some people might call it a mess, and turning that into a force for good, hopefully.
Yeah, and it can be. Yeah. And you have to have a big voice. And I did 3 cases, but the 3rd case, I was like, holy badunkles, like just throw me the hardest one, and you open it and you have to take it in steps. But there's only and these kids are going through this trauma, so it's not for everyone. And I think you can volunteer with whatever you're comfortable with, but it's a necessity.
Well, for you, I met you originally at Dorchester, mm-hmm. and that was a ton of fun.
Yes, it was great fun. It was great getting to see the party just let their hair down. It was great to see Mayor Julie Hoy get a Rising Star Award and be recognized for being the gladiator in the arena, which she is. Oh, for sure. Well, she's been making a lot of big changes in town, and it's been really fun to see. While oftentimes policy can be delayed, the culture and the feeling can be pretty immediate. How would you guys say that the culture in Salem has kind of, or Salem Kaiser, because you guys are in Kaiser, right? But how would you say the culture has kind of shifted? Because in my eyes, like our communities are kind of...
They're connected, and yet they're distinctly different, I think, yes, in culture and feel. Yeah. I think in Kaiser, I think we're seeing how do I want to put this? I think we're starting to see some tension, if you will, between the need to grow, mm-hmm, and people's desire to maintain Kaiser with that small town feel that so many people remember because they lived there before it was an actual recognized city. So they remember, and they will talk about that. I've been here since 1960, or I've lived here since 1970. And so we're really seeing that tension, that push and pull between the need and the desire for growth, and the desire to maintain that small town feel.
Yeah. So just to make sure I'm hearing you right. So there's kind of like this feeling of people wanting to stick to the small town feel that Kaiser's always had in the past. But then at the same time, can you do that and grow? Exactly.
I think that is the question of the day. Yeah. I think it's a balancing act. I think with compromise and healthy conversation, I think you can get to some win-wins that will accomplish both. Yeah. And, like I mentioned, we had a wonderful neighborhood town hall last night, and we had some really healthy conversation and dialogue, and I think we got to a win-win, if you will.
What was some of the dialogue that was had there?
Yeah, Kaiser Station, there's still quite a bit of area that is to be developed or is available to be developed, and I think it was
Where in relation to Kaiser Station? Are you saying like to the west of Kaiser Station?
Oh, you're talking to the most directionally challenged person on Earth.
Okay.
Answer that, Shaney.
What are the coordinates?
Oh my
on the
goodness.
side of where Target is.
Okay,
By
yes.
volcanoes.
All right, sure.
Right, and so thank you for the save. I appreciate that, because I would have you somewhere out by the coast. You have, and then you have, Lock Haven that divides the two different sides. You've got the Chick-fil-A side and then the Target side. And on the Target side,
we don't know east or west.
Yeah,
I like the Chick-fil-A side and the Target side.
Do you like that?
Honestly, that's the best description you can have.
I'm pretty sure that the Target side is north and the Chick-fil-A side is south.
Are these like official Kaiser terms?
They're
Chick-fil-A
Shaney
side?
terms.
That's
Shaney
right.
terms.
They are Shaney terms.
You heard it
And
here,
then you
folks.
have the railroad tracks that kind of goes right through Kaiser Station. And you have let me get my west of the railroad tracks. On the north side, the Target side, you have there's an undeveloped area.
By the Chariots.
Right, by the Chariots. But it also is butts up against a residential area, right? So there's kind of an example of the tension.
Yeah.
You know,
That's kind of what I was wondering, because in the past, just from like living here, it seems like Kaiser's been this small town, but then there was this weird grass patch and then like Kaiser Station. So it was separated.
Yes.
Right.
But
Well,
it looks like, from what I've seen from development potential plans, it's going to start merging.
it is going to be developed. And I think that was the conversation that we had last night, is this recognition that it is going to be developed. But, or instead of maybe not the word but, the word and, we know that we can be sensitive to the residents and the neighbors whose property butts up against that development.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can find some compromise and some win-wins. And I think that our conversation last night really modeled that. So I was pleased with it.
It was a couple of city council meetings ago that we had quite a few people come testify, because there was going to be maybe a gas station in that area.
Yep.
But
I heard
then
about this.
Councilor Duran made a recommendation that it couldn't, had to be 150 feet away. So that would kind of push everything to the
150 feet away from what?
The residential,
residentials.
like
I
the
see.
close.
so the things that they wouldn't even fit in that land once Kyle, we passed that.
Oh, so they were trying to put a gas station like, was it 150 feet? That's like a block.
Oh,
Less
it
than
was
a block.
it was closer than a
be like-
block.
But up against.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
there's ways around it. I think it's kind of finding the can and not the cannot.
yeah, that win-win. How
I
do
love
we?
that.
The
How do
question
we
is,
achieve that,
how do we
though?
get to yes, right?
Yes.
And what does
Mhm.
yes look like that is amenable to everyone? That
But
takes some healthy dialogue.
Well, maybe the other question is also like, which it seems like you guys kind of have in Kaiser. Like, it seems like you guys kind of have good representation. But a lot of times, like, there'll be like a yes, but it's like, is that a real representation of the people, or is that just like, the people that are in the room saying yes?
Here's
I think
Go
that's
ahead.
why you got to vote.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say. Here's the thing: the people that are voicing their opinions are the people that elect us, and so really, at the end of the day, that's who we need to be listening to.
Yeah.
And we have to have more than
if-
19% of people show up to vote.
100%.
Yes.
I think it's important for people to recognize that we can have dialogue and conversations, and we may just have to end at a place where we need to agree to disagree, and that's okay. What I hope people remember if we disagree on something is that I hope they feel like they were heard, and I hope they remembered that I asked the questions and I was willing to listen. I can do better. I do not have it perfected at all, but I think hopefully a work in progress.
Well, I think a lot of times, everyone thinks the grass is always greener, right? People are like, oh, Salem sucks, or Kaiser sucks, or I'm going to move. It's like when we were in high school and someone's like, I'm going to switch to that school. Then they come back and they're still in school the next week. They never move. Yeah. But it's like the grass is always greener thing. But instead of looking at the grass and be like, oh, that grass is greener over there, how about we pull up some weeds, and we
keep
water this
watering
grass.
our grass.
Groundwork.
Plant some
Remember
seed.
that in
Yeah.
groundwork?
We work on the
That
soil.
was
Yes.
100% the kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
pulling on
imagery
the weeds.
that we used in that. It was
And
about,
it's still the imagery they use.
but it was,
Yeah.
but that was
Yeah.
the crux of that. It was a year-long leadership program, and that was about, the water, the soil, pulling the weeds, watering, all fertilizing, all of that. And I think the thing I hope people remember, I want to try to give people grace, and I hope people would do the same in return. I'm not always going to say the right thing. Goodness knows that if my mouth doesn't say it, my face will.
I'm that way too.
So-
I'm not good at hiding how
And
I feel about things.
bless your heart when you said I had a good heart, but man, sometimes this mouth can be rather spicy, and I know that, and I can always do better with that. But I hope grace abounds from people, and if I have a bad day, and I think this goes for everybody, if we have a bad day, there's always tomorrow, and I want to give grace, and I ask for grace in return.
What does, I guess to both of you, I'd like to hear what you think. What does giving grace look like in the role of a city councilor?
I feel like it goes back to when I can walk on water, I'll expect other people to. It kind of goes back, for every finger you have pointed out, you have
Three of them are pointing right
pointed
back.
right back at you, I think that unfortunately there is the 1%ers that are very loud and very angry. And if you don't believe their way, whatever way it is, that they demonize people. And I don't think that's very nice. I don't, that is not grace. How would I answer that? That's an act of not being graceful.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Or maybe go ahead.
No, I was just going to remember our groundwork, right? It's all kind of, this conversation brings back so much, but seeing people as people, right?
Yeah.
I think most people put their pants on, one leg at a time.
I do both, actually. I jump.
Shut
Up.
up. Do you really?
No, I don't.
I'm
You're
just
like,
going to
you
be
would,
like,
though.
no, not.
He would. He just
No, I
jumps
don't.
into him because he hasn't
man.
washed him for a couple days.
Oh,
They're
they're
standing- They're standing straight
Oh,
up.
no.
Think it's a magic trick, and it's not.
Tide Pods are expensive in this economy.
Almost had me on
Tariffs.
that one. Yeah.
I spent all my money on this paid parking. I can't afford laundry detergent.
Don't even get me started on the ticket that wouldn't print. So I hope I don't get it.
Oh, no, it didn't print?
It wouldn't print. So, thank goodness I used a credit card so I can prove that I paid for it. So we'll see. Who knows? But whatever.
Not that I'm salty about it or anything.
I said if the mouth won't say it.
We're talking,
Don't put your
I'm
face up.
talking about Beep Beep Salem. The app would not work for me today.
Oh,
So
the app didn't work?
no, but I got there used the credit card and walked
Yeah.
over, and then it did print my ticket. So
I don't know.
I don't know, glitches.
We'll see.
Again, give grace.
Grace, back
Yes,
to grace.
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
Technology.
It is day one.
It is
With
day
day one,
one.
right.
Working out the bugs, all of the things. I think that's important. But you asked, what does it look like? A long time ago, I was asked to be the first non-medical professional to go through a leadership program that Salem Health did. And their chief medical officer was leading it. And he instilled in me this philosophy of assuming good intent.
Yeah.
And I think if we assumed good intent on the part of most everyone, really everyone, I think that I think we could have some really productive conversations and develop some really beautiful relationships.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we're willing to bounce ideas off of each other and learn from each other. And you don't need to be right now.
And you don't always have to be the person in leading the charge. Sometimes I think, and I'm going to tie this back to an example with our turf fields. Sometimes I think it's...
What turf fields?
So in Kaiser, we have the regional turf field project that we've done in partnership. We started 3 years ago, I think, with Marion County Commissioners and use of ARPA funds. And we just received funding from the legislature, thanks to Representative Mannix putting that in $750,000.
Where at?
Where at what?
The fields.
Kaiser Rapids Park.
Oh, that's turf now?
Yeah. Well, there are
go out
2
there.
turf fields there.
Sure.
You should go out there for summer concert series. Too.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The kids on it, playing on it, laughing, just seeing them. It's like, this is what community is. Yeah. But recognizing as elected officials that it's not always about us being up in front and leading the charge. We had an opportunity as a city to do testimony in support of that ask. And, you know, through the course of a couple of days and some conversations and strategy, we actually at the very last minute decided to have we were going to have a group of us testify, and then we could only have one person testify. So we had 2 high school students testify.
Oh, wow.
And ask and make the case for support. And I think that is, we have to remember that as elected officials, it's about elevating others and their voices.
And thinking outside of the box, just trying to, Shaney knows this, both of us think this. This is the way we've always done it. Cool. Like, ooh,
That
wow.
is not.
And you might have seen my face. We probably both had faces like that during city council meetings. Like, this is the way we've always done it. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But
Let's try
doesn't
something
mean
new.
that we can't be forward thinking.
But why?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
What
evolve. Let's evolve.
What are some examples of like times when that's happened?
Ooh, my favorite is traffic studies.
Traffic studies.
And I say that like, you thought I got salty a minute ago. You talked to me about traffic studies and traffic data, and that is the fastest way to make me go from 0 to salty times 10.
Tell
Yeah.
For
okay,
example,
okay.
like
Tell me
Chick-fil-A.
more about this.
Yeah.
What?
So here's
In and out.
that's all you need to say. In and out. You know, oh my gosh, this is such a loaded
man.
question. Traffic studies really are, or traffic data, it's really about formulas and putting, you know, looking at a chart that says, you know, for this amount of business or this type of business, you can expect this many cars during, you know, these hours of the day. And then all those
we
numbers.
don't need another traffic light when you're like, oh, heck, really?
Yeah, you do. You just go sit out in Kaiser Station. And I made this statement last night at our neighborhood, at the meeting, at the town hall. I walk the area every single day. I did a little different this morning because there was a comment made and I wanted to go check it out. And I was saucy at 7:00 in the morning this morning because I was like, what in the world were they thinking? There's no way that would work. The formula might say it'll work, or, you know, the plans might say it'll work, but trust me, that is not going to work. And I think when you're
saying what it is on paper versus the reality.
The reality of it is not, because nobody ever drives the same speed limit. Nobody ever drives the posted speed limit. Then you throw in traffic lights who may or may not be synced. And then you throw in train in the middle of the day. And then you throw in, maybe you have, you know, a little league tournament at the little league fields. And so you've just added how many people, and maybe it's, you know, the start of spring and everybody's at Lowe's getting all of their plants to start planting, you know, and you just start putting all of these things together. And before you know it, the traffic data that they projected has been blown out of the water and we have a traffic congestion problem.
I see.
So don't tell me, well, the traffic data, you know, or the traffic report says this. It's not reality. And when we keep relying on that.
And it's a 5-year-old study. With our
It doesn't
hands.
work.
I have to
for me.
hold my hands now in city
it's
council.
also a 5-year-old
Yeah,
study.
it'll be like 3 to 5 years. But
Nice.
I actually learned to hold my hands in front of me at city council because
Why?
I would watch myself when I first started, and I would my hands would be everywhere.
Oh, because when you
you
hear
get
someone saying some
passionate.
stuff that's not accurate.
That's why I chew gum.
Oh, man.
And let me tell you, I was never more grateful to have to wear a mask than I was during COVID because it hid everything, all my facial expressions,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That was when we didn't have to wear those. And you could see what I was really thinking.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I had to control that, learn
God.
how to control that.
Well, there's this one meeting that I can remember when I was on the school board for Salem Kaiser, where we brought in, we were talking about food, like the food that we're serving kids. And, it's not like the worst food in the world, but like, could it be better? Yes, absolutely. It could be better. But so we brought in the food services, and I forget the name of the company now. I've been out of it for a while.
Cisco or Food Services of America. They were all
Sodexo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Sodexo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but anyways, they came in. Their head exec guy came in, and they were in charge of all the food services. And I asked him the question. You can go see this in the public meeting. I asked the question. I said, if we gave you more money, I say, I believe that you guys are doing the best you can with the money that you're receiving. Like, I'm just going to give you the good faith in that.
Assuming good intent.
Yes, exactly. And I said, now, to ensure that our kids can have better food to eat, I was like, if we gave you more money, could we increase the quality of the kids' food? And you know what he told me? He said no. He's like, no, this is the best that we could possibly do. And I was like, it's very clearly not the case. And they would also like serve us food before the board meetings, and it was like really fancy food. But then like I would go mentor a student, which I don't know if they knew I was doing that. But, like I would go mentor a student in one of the schools, and the food's, it is what it is, right? And so it's like it's interesting sometimes how. But during that meeting, I was like
Your facial expressions said it all, right?
It's like I am not buying what you're selling.
Exactly. Have you guys found, because I remember in the school district, right, it was kind of hard to get real answers sometimes, right? Because like people don't want to, like that was one example, right? And that just had to do with food. Now I think about all the high stakes items, right? Such as like, I don't even want to get like budgetary things or teacher salary, the bond stuff, like anything that's a high stakes item. Other high stakes items that you guys have had to deal with that are similar to that?
Just really, it didn't sit right with me. It's kind of when your spidey senses go out, and it was for the right of way. And so friends that I have at PGE and Northwest Natural Gas, like we were trying to redo their contracts to where, maybe we had, I don't even remember, we had maybe 5 or 10 year contracts, but we were trying to get more money from them, which I know would fall on. And the consultant, because I love that word, that came in said and every time I asked a question, it would be answered. So I just did my own homework, and I believe I called myself Nancy Drew during the city council meeting. And most Oregon cities that were doing it, there was 4 cities that were doing it out of 241 or 244. That is most. But that really, and I think it went down like a 4-3 vote, but it really stuck out to me because we're only as good as the answers we get. And sometimes it's like, it really, it's been a lot better, but it felt for the first 6 months of city council, it was pulling teeth to get any answers.
Well, and if you watch a city council meeting, they like to, my fellow councilors like to kid me because apparently I am infamous for saying, I just have one more question. So they call
Proceeds to ask 10 questions.
It's like, follow up. So they joke about, one more question, Shaney. Shaney has one more question. So, yeah.
And that sticks out for me. The other thing that sticks out for me is when we had, and again, this is maybe the first or second year, it all blurs together, is when I found out we had 2 frozen police officer positions a month and a half or 2 months into a budget cycle. And I was like, that'd be nice to know.
They were frozen?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Frozen, like you can't hire for him. You can't hire for him because we don't have the money for him. But we didn't know. I think we definitely learned, and we learned that, hey, and just we have to give grace too, because maybe the staff isn't used to a council that has a billion questions. So we just come in like a hurricane Why? When they're like, you've asked more questions in 1 week than the last city councilor did in 6 months. So we have to learn from each other what that looks like and have the grace to not get frustrated or point the finger and say, why didn't you tell me? Because honestly, maybe that person didn't even think it was important to them, but it's very important to us, and that's building the team. But I think they know now.
I do want to give our city staff credit.
100%.
I think we in Kaiser do an insane amount of work, our city staff, for the number of staff that we have.
100%. I think
it is crazy what we can do as a city with such a small staff.
we have 102 employees, I think, for what are we, around 40,000 people?
The budgeted 102 budgeted positions. We don't have them all filled.
I want to
yeah.
say, and you'll have to look up the facts, it's either 1,100 or 1,400 employees for City of Salem.
Wow.
We have
quite a few.
102
And we have
FTE.
102.
You have 102.
But I mean,
40,000.
again, they're five times as big as us.
So 100, but that's still more than 5 times as many employees.
Yeah. So
we're just incredibly efficient.
Run lean and mean, and we don't run in the red.
Yeah, which also, right, it also says a lot about, one of my favorite books is called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. And it talks about, leading up and down the chain of command, because a lot of times, like you were saying, like about not having the need to be the one in the lead all the time. Right. In the military, you aren't the one in the lead because there's always someone ahead of you. So like, how do you be a leader? And so it says a lot about the employees of the city of Kaiser, because, that just really shows that people are taking ownership over their job and their role in the city and what they're doing.
And a lot of that staff, I mean, we had some retire, have been around since the City of Kaiser started City Kaiser. So we have new staff members to where our city recorder and our city attorney were there from the very beginning. Yes.
A lot of institutional knowledge. Yeah. And they left things, I think in a in a very solid, stable manner so that their replacements could really come in, pick up, and carry on and have the ability or I guess the safety, if you will, because everything was a well-oiled machine. They had that the time and the luxury to kind of make it their own.
Yeah.
And do some changes and
yeah, so definitely giving them props. So I think that it's just a different team. We're the question team. And so we want all the knowledge. All of it.
That's awesome.
And I think I was just thinking, Shaney, so we've had since we've been on council, new chief of police, new city attorney, a new city manager came on maybe 6 months before I came on council, 6 months to a year.
Yeah, it was about 10 months.
Yeah, a new city recorder. I mean, like,
and a new deputy city recorder.
Wow.
So
how have those changes affected the culture or like your ability to get things done?
I don't think it's affected the ability to get things done. I think they've done an incredible job of making it their own and really, creating their own culture. As we call Kaiser calls all of their department heads calls them the ELT or the executive leadership team, and I think they've just done an outstanding job of creating their own culture and their own way of addressing challenges or issues and how they handle the business of the city. So yeah. I think they've done a great job.
And God bless them. And God bless our city manager, because we got some strong personalities up on that dais.
Man.
It's like Hurricane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Shaney and Soraida. Then you got Lori Christopher, old Mayor Lori Christopher, that's now city councilor. We have Mayor Kathy. I mean, we have between the two of them, 35 years worth of mayoral experience.
Yeah. So
and then Marlene that just came back.
She came back
after she already served 8 years at city council.
Man, so you guys got the Avengers going on here.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
That's incredible. Well, what do you think about what are some hurdles that guys are trying to overcome right now?
How do we grow? Right? do we grow? I think that's the challenge we have. I think we don't have a 20-year supply of housing like we're supposed to.
How many years do you think that we have?
Probably already out.
I mean,
Oh,
it's getting tight. It's getting really tight, and we're supposed to have our UGB reviewed every 10 years, I think, and they're the plan reviewed, and it hasn't been, and we know we need to look at, do we adjust it? And if we don't adjust it, that's going to impact our property tax revenue, because don't even get me started on measures 5 and 50 and compression and all the nonsense with, how our general fund is funded. But we've got to have some tough conversations. And, I was tapped to, out of this last budget cycle, I was tapped to lead a task force to look at how do we fund and maintain our police force. Right now we have a police fee. But
what is that? What is a police fee? Like
police
in taxes?
fee, it's a fee on your utility bills, right? It's a loophole, because you're supposed to take any tax out for a vote, but you can put a fee on a bill, right, to pay for something, and you don't have to have a vote of the people.
I call that
I don't
before BSS, before Shaney and Soraida.
I was gonna say, I was like,
you can call it BS squared.
I was like, listen,
yes. But that's when somebody asks, how did that happen? That's BSS.
yeah.
So
I was like, I love our boys in blue, but I don't like that idea at all. Like, which has nothing to do with them. It has to do with
right,
whoever
and that's
was in
the
there
thing,
at the time.
right? They're it's not just our police force who will suffer with an unstable funding model, but our communities will, right? Because when you need something, hold on. I'm going to say hi to Kyle and
Oh my goodness.
hello. Yeah,
That is so funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
Speaking of,
That is so funny. That we can see them all the way from here.
not funny.
Stay tuned for the next episode with Lori Christian.
Kyle.
Yeah. That'll be next week.
Everybody will tell you when they need police or when they need fire or when they need medics, they want to know that we have it fully staffed. The rub is that we don't all need them all the time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's the funding? What does that funding model look like to ensure we have stable funding, we have consistent staffing, all the things?
Well, is there anything? I'll have to have you guys on again because I feel like we could do like 15 more of these.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
You're just your little ray of sunshines today.
Yeah, you guys have the matching yellow. Oh man, yeah, you guys killed it. I was certain that was planned.
Absolutely not planned at all. So
Thank you, Jesse.
Of course. Well, thank you for coming in. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we go?
I would like to say contact your elected officials if you have a question and do your homework. Don't just take one source as the Bible, even if it's Salem Business Journal.
That's fair.
I would say you don't have to have a question to have a conversation with your elected officials. Get to know them as people. They're your neighbors.
And the volunteers.
Okay. Yeah. How should they reach out? How can people get a hold of you guys?
You can find my phone number on our City of Kaiser website. I don't know it by heart. I apologize. But you also can send us an email. There's a link to our email on the City of Kaiser website as well.
Okay. So if they go on the City of Kaiser website,
yep,
they can find an email.
Email, phone number.
Okay. And then do you guys have, not to sound too young here, do you guys have Instagrams?
I have a personal Instagram, I think.
Or Facebook?
I have Facebook, both personal and city council.
And
Okay,
I
can people message your city council
Absolutely.
ones on there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have a podcast.
And she also has a podcast.
Yep.
When am I going to be on your podcast?
That's a good question, Go check out Shaney's episode. I could have Shaney and Jesse on.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'd
yeah.
be great.
We'd be the dream team.
Yeah.
Do we
let's do
actually,
it.
so it's, your podcast is called At the Kitchen Table.
At the kitchen table with Soraida and friends.
Do we eat breakfast?
We can.
No, but I did serve beer from Jose from La Familia Cider.
Oh,
She brought coffee for us.
But no one looks good eating, so.
I don't
You've never
care.
seen me
I'll
eat.
eat.
You know,
I'll eat
it
with
also
you.
doesn't look good, but it's more I just want to eat.
I mean, as long as it's bacon, but it has to be crispy.
Yes. So we're gonna come on your podcast. So
Yes.
we're gonna eat eggs and bacon.
Okay, I'm on it.
It's a deal.
Scrambled
You heard it here.
eggs.
Okay.
I'm a sunny side up. kinda
Ooh, I'm
guy.
a scrambled.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Salem Business Journal podcast. Thank you, Soraida
Thank
and
you.
Shaney, for coming.
Thank you.
See you guys.